This is the FE Code IT Smarts game, and I'm going to take you through how to play. So there are several different games you can play. I'm going to go through 3 you can play with teams, and 1 that you can play on your own. First things first, when you get your deck, first of all, if you take the cards out, inside you'll find kind of disclaimer card. You'll notice that the flashcards are sorted into different topics or suits, and there's 5 cards in each topic. So for example, we've got security, we've got marketing, we've got facilities, we've got finance, just put these up there, we've got development, operations, HR, legal, and IT service desk. Some of the games we will play with the cards in their suits or in their topics, but other games we're going to shuffle them all together. So I'm first of all going to show you a game where we shuffle them all together, and then I'll show you a couple of games that you can play in their suits. So the first game we're going to play is what we call Quick Deal. Quick Deal is a game you can play with 2 to 4 players. It's like a quick stand-up game that you can play, you know, just as in a end of a team meeting or some other kind of event. What you do with the Quick Deal game is you deal 5 cards to each player, like so. And then you ask each player to then read through the fronts of their cards, not looking at the back, and select the card which has the most meaning for them in terms of a challenge they faced or a challenge they face today or something which they've had experience of in the past and they know is an important thing to focus on. So, for example, from this list here, I might choose this operations card, and it says here, the operations team needs to manage multiple servers and applications across different environments. The other player would do the same. Let's just give the other player 5 cards. The other player would do the same. Maybe they pick this HR one. And then each of the players would then discuss their cards and talk about the challenges, the blockers, the issues that they might face in terms of dealing with this. And then if you turn the card over, we then have a suggested solution on the back, along with which Atlassian products are best suited to assist with that. So that's called Quick Deal. As you can see, it's very quick, and you can play it as many times as you like. If when you draw your hand of cards you don't like the hand of cards, you can of course just draw 5 more cards if you want to. The second game we're going to talk about is what we call Showcase. With Showcase you need 1 deck and you need the cards in their topics or suits. This can be played with up to 24 players with teams of 2, 3 or 4 ideally. And what you're going to do is you're going to give the 5 cards from each topic to each team. So if we had 3 teams and we wanted to focus on IT service desk, maybe we want to focus on facilities and operations, we would give the 5 cards of each of those topics to those 3 teams, and then each team would then discuss the cards that they've got and then start to rank them in order of importance or order of challenge or order of benefit and value that might bring. Once all 3 teams have done that, bring the teams back together again, and what they're then going to do is consolidate those down into just 5 cards. So maybe we pick 2 from operations, 2 from IT service desk, and maybe 1 from facilities. And in that way, we can start to form a backlog of improvements that we could make within the business or within that team. So you only need 1 deck for this game, and you can play it as many different ways as you want, really. Ideally focusing on having each team, or even if you want to, if you have a smaller team, each individual focusing on 1 topic, and then that individual or that team picking out 1 or 2 cards for that topic, and then bringing it all together, and then creating your kind of central backlog with the 2 or 3 that each player has picked. There is also a game you can play on your own, which we call the Backlog game. This is designed for someone to do individually, or you can do it as a group if you want to. Works much the same way, but when you play the solo game, what you're actually doing is going through essentially the whole deck and determining for each topic which are the kind of first and second priorities for each topic, and then again creating that ranked backlog of consolidated cards at the end. When you play it as a solo game, you're looking to have a backlog of probably around 10 cards, and the idea is that those 10 cards then form your improvement backlog that you're planning to do. So the solo game really is a planning game, effectively. The final game is what we call the workshop game. For the workshop game, again, you need a deck of the shuffle cards. And what you're going to do in the workshop game is give one deck to each team. So if you need more decks, you can order them from our website. But obviously, if we've given you some decks, you might have enough to do this anyway. And you're going to form teams of, again, 3, 4, 5, or 6. And then each team will be given one shuffle deck of cards. And what you're going to do is deal out the cards to every member of that team, ideally about 10 each. If you've got more than 5 people in the team, then I'll have slightly less each. So let's imagine I've got 3 people in my team here. So I'm going to deal out 10 cards. Ten cards to each team, to each team member. And then each team member will then start to look through their 10 cards and then pick out the 2 or 3 cards that, again, have the most meaning to them in terms of challenges they've faced, problems that they can identify within their department or within their organisation, or even things that they've experienced in the past which they know are important. So if I was playing this, maybe I would pick out this IT security one. Maybe I'd pick out this HR one, for example. If it's a smaller team, I'd recommend each player selecting 3 cards. If it's a larger team, say 4 or more people, then probably 2 cards each is probably enough. Once each member of the team has done that and picked their 2 or 3 cards, so actually we'll pick one more each for these because there's only 3 of us. What we're going to then do is that each team member will then talk about each card in turn. So reading out the front of the card only, just describe what the card says, the scenario says, and then just talk about where they've experienced this particular challenge in the past. Once all the team members have done that, what they're going to then try to do is, again, bring these cards together and create a ranked backlog of 5 cards. So, for example, if I felt that IT service desk was important and everyone else agreed, and then maybe we started discussing some of the other cards, these were the 5 cards that we are going to agree on as a group. Make sure they're in ranked order. And then once we've done that, then every group will then reveal what their 5 cards are. And the facilitator will then record which topics have been selected as well. And at the end of that discussion, hopefully, collectively, as a larger group, we've come up with a number of different backlogs or initiatives that could be undertaken, and also maybe understood which departments within the organisation maybe has where there are the most challenges and where there potentially could be more focus. So that's what we call the workshop game. That can be played with up to 100 players, but obviously you need 1 deck per table.